different.
Class is the greatest. That's where real expansion of your mind and talents can be found. Turn on. Tune out of the rat race and its square problems. And tune in on real self-knowledge and creative power.
Welcome back to the channel and thanks for the return. This is your host, the Jedi Brandon Kenobi, and today we're going to be talking about They Cloned Tyrone. Now, this is a very interesting film, a film that I didn't plan on watching, but I did. And let me tell you, the movie was actually pretty good. Yeah, I have this weird movie disorder where if the movie's attempting to do things and I can see what they were trying to go for, I sometimes give them a little bit of boost for that. This movie had a lot of things going for it, and I could see what they were trying to do. It was definitely a mixture of black exploitation film and a little bit of parody of it in a way, but not in a disrespectful way, more of a comedic, charming type of way. I felt like this movie was inspired by some of the all-time classics. When I was watching this movie, I was getting huge They Live vibes from it. I'm not sure if they try to slip that in, but even both the titles start off with they. And those are just things on the surface that I noticed. The motive they give for the main character in both movies is almost identical. I mean, just hear me out. The main character in both stories lives in a town. Then he finds out that something's going on in the town that's out of his control. But he finds out whatever's going on is on a global scale, and he can't just sit around and not do anything about it. So in both movies, both characters throw themselves into the abyss of unknown, figuring they have to do something about the situation at hand. And whoa, slow down now. I'm not saying this movie completely copied They Live. It just was inspired by They Live. So you can be inspired by things and not take exactly everything from it. That's what I enjoyed about this movie. It felt like it was its own thing, but I could definitely feel the inspiration came from a few of those classics, like They Live, Get Out, and I even felt a little bit of inspiration from The Sixth Day in here with the cloning aspect of it. But, my fellow Jedi, if you enjoyed the information and you like my opinion, please subscribe and hit the like button. Anything you can do is always appreciated, and I'm always going to bring you movie news reviews no matter what. Now let's get back to this movie. I thought it was kind of ironic with all those cloning conspiracies going around about Jamie, and then he ends up in this movie. Is it a coincidence? I don't know, but he did a good job in this movie, if that even is Mr. Fox. But anyways, and if you're going into this movie looking for all the conspiracy theories and what's going to happen to black people and what this movie is showing us what they're doing, you might not enjoy it as much. That's all I got to say. But if you're going into it as a straight movie, popcorn flick, just fun, and you want to just watch it for entertainment, you might have fun with it. I mean, if you watched Get Out and you enjoyed that movie, that's pretty much what the surface level premise for this movie is about, but that's only on surface level. Like I said earlier, this movie felt like it was inspired by a lot of the classics to me, like They Live, Get Out, Inception. I'll even throw that in there because it was about controlling the mind. And I'll even throw in Sixth Day, like I said earlier, because they had the cloning aspect of it. He doesn't interact with any of his other clones, but yeah, there are more than one of him. But this wouldn't be a Jedi review if I didn't tell you my favorite scene. I don't want to spoil too much for this movie for you, but I will say one thing. My favorite scene is probably when they went down low and started to explore the secret laboratories, and they started playing this old school electric synthesizer music that's straight from the 80s. And I'm an 80s baby, man. That gets me every time. And that wasn't even the best part about the soundtrack. There was a song they played called Peeping Tom, made by Fat Ron, and let me tell you, it was hitting all the vibes for me. Not to say that it was the best lyrics that I ever heard, but the vibrational tones that was sending out made me want to move my body. And that's actually the song you can hear playing lightly in the background right now. And I do want to say to the actress that played Yo-Yo, I think the young lady's name is Tiana Paris. Yeah, she did a wonderful job. She was great in this movie. I haven't seen her in other things, but from what she showed me in this movie, she's good with comedy, she's good with action, and a little bit of suspense. So I'd love to see her in other things as well. And now that brings us to Mr. John Boyega. Was he good or was he trash? He was actually pretty good in this movie. I honestly thought he did a good job as the character Fontaine. It almost felt very reminiscent to his character Moses in Attack the Block, like an older version of him. So it would definitely be interesting to see his portrayal of Moses in Attack the Block 2 if they ever end up making it. I mean, I honestly didn't expect to like this movie. I had to watch it 3 times just to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. And every time I watched it, it got better and better. Not to say this is the greatest movie of all time, but the first time I watched it, it was okay. The second time I watched it, it was pretty good. And that third time I watched it, I'm like, okay, this movie has a lot of stuff going for it. So if you're going to ask me if I would recommend this movie, my answer to you would be yes. Go watch this movie right now. If you have Netflix and you're looking for a good popcorn sci-fi movie to kick back and relax to, it's definitely some fun to watch. And it's definitely not a one and done. It's not a 2 for 2. It's actually a 3 for me. I watched this shit 3 times and I enjoyed it. So I recommend it. Go check it out if you have Netflix. And I will see you in the next video with more movie news reviews.
Glass is the greatest. That's where real expansion of your mind and talents can be found. Turn on. Tune out of the rat race and its square problems. And tune in on real self-knowledge and creative power.